together again and not separated or with reduced numbers because of COVID. We bring in Congressman Brad Sherman, Democrat from California, member of the Financial Services and Foreign Affairs Committees. Good to see you, sir. We appreciate it. Kind of exciting. It's a uniquely American night and worth celebrating. Something that the president's going to say to pick up on Blake's reporting. My economic plan is about investing in places and people that have been forgotten. Amid the economic upheaval of the past 4 decades, too many people have been left behind or treated like they're invisible. If I didn't know it, that could almost sound like it came from Donald Trump.
They're both trying to appeal to the same group, people who feel they have been left behind and ignored. And the fact is, though, that Biden's actually doing something for them, especially with this bipartisan infrastructure bill.
How is the president and Democrats, because it worked, frankly, during the midterms, able to take credit for the bipartisan infrastructure bill and for the Inflation Reduction Act, whether by whatever name it is, and the huge increase in jobs and low employment numbers, but somehow not get stuck with egg prices at sky-high numbers, now talking about butter shortages or butter prices going up in your state of Colorado, baby formula shortages, all the things that make people feel things aren't working.
Well, it's a combination of things. If you are unemployed and now you have the lowest unemployment rate in the last 50 years, you're able to get a job. Heck, you're able to turn down one job and take a different job. Then things are better for you. If you've been employed continuously and you look at the price of eggs, you notice the price of eggs. The price of gasoline has come down, but you still know that it is higher than you want it to be. So it is a mixed bag. I think it's going to get better. And the next election is almost 2 years away.
You're from California. This is a state that deals with the border crisis and the fentanyl crisis in a unique way. We've covered a lot of the issues surrounding overdoses, now the leading cause of death for young Americans. The most recent major immigration reform enacted in the United States, Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, made it illegal to hire or recruit illegal immigrants, legalized some 2.7 million undocumented residents who entered the United States before 1982. Ronald Reagan was president. Both houses of Congress controlled by Democrats. We understand the president is going to talk a lot about fentanyl tonight. Is it possible to deal with the fentanyl crisis without first securing the southern border?
Yes, there's an effort by Republicans to conflate the two issues. They're both important issues. But the vast majority of fentanyl is not coming here with illegal immigrants. And the drug cartels are quite capable of bringing that in, hidden in the various products that we bring in from Mexico and directly from China. So we do need to deal with fentanyl. But
to be fair, though, as we see the video, and we spent a lot of time on the southern border, when you have got Border Patrol agents and Customs and Border Protection folks overwhelmed by processing record upon record upon record numbers of illegal immigrants, they could spend their time on interdiction efforts with fentanyl, if not for dealing with all these people.
Well, if you want to control the border and control illegal immigration, you're going to have even more of the border agents controlling immigration. Nobody on the Republican side is saying let's have fewer agents focused on illegal immigration. The fact is we do need to inspect goods that are coming here, not only from Mexico, but also from China. And we might have to impose a tariff or fee to make sure that we're inspecting every cargo.
Is there any reason to believe, I heard from where the president is going to say, if we didn't work together in the past Congress, there's no reason we can't work with Republicans in the current Congress. Not really much got done in a bipartisan way during the last Congress, especially in the House.
We did a lot on a bipartisan basis, even under Trump. We passed the big bills to deal with COVID. We passed another one under Biden that was not bipartisan. We had the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Well, but also it's not that critical. Everybody wants to get things done. Getting things done means erasing one statute and writing a different statute. And often the new statute isn't any better than the old statute. Two things we have to get done. We have to not dishonor the debt of the country, pay our bills, and we have to keep the government open and not shut it down on October 1st. Well, we do those two things. The American people will be able, through their courage, their energy, to drive the country forward.
And well, we will probably hear that charge from the president as well. We know that he has sort of drawn this battle line, or in a couple of battle lines, with Speaker McCarthy on that. Congressman, we'll let you get inside into the chamber, and we'll watch for you on the cutaway cameras. It's good to see you, sir.
I'll be waving.
Thank you very much. With that, we bring in Congressman Mark.